Alrighty, part 2. Let's go ahead and create our 2 support classes. Our 2 main support classes, should I say. GServer, just a standard class, and GClient. We're going to fill in GClient first. Alrighty. But we do need a little bit of stuff from GServer. Okay, so save everything. Thumbnail down. In GServer, first I am going to put another class down here. Public class, user. User can include stuff like hit points, dexterity, strength, all of that kind of stuff, wisdom, intelligence. For ours, it's not really going to include all that stuff. It's just going to include exactly what we're going to use. So since TCP client is a class, and some people may think that I'm talking down to them right now. I'm not. Some people really don't quite understand classes yet. Classes versus structs. And since TCP client is a class, this will be a reference to that class. Just like our list later on in the actual server class, in the client class, will be a reference. So we will not have the TCP client class out there twice in RAM. It will only be there once. Alright, let's get these variables done. Really? I want to include it, Microsoft, I promise. Trying to type as fast as possible since I have really very little say about the variables. We already went over them in the last tutorial. And I'm getting fat fingers very quickly here. So our user will actually be out here twice. And the logic behind that is, and it will be in RAM twice, our own personal user. So when we log in, we fill out all of our user information locally. And we use that to send to the server. The server will send us back a list of users, including ourselves. That is what we actually draw to the screen, to our game tab, which we have to add a picture box in here shortly. So that's the logic behind that. Trying to sync the 2 users up, the one in the list and the one in our local user, is just very annoying, and it produces really no benefit other than saving a couple bytes, literally. A lot of times I will put a function call in here after the value's been set, which is really a benefit of properties. And I had to expand it over here in my Scratch project to make sure I wasn't doing that. So since this class is separate from our form now, we are using properties to access the variables, keep the variables private, and we're really not doing anything with them. But later on, you may want to implement some security, some validation. And as I said before, the properties really are the best place to start that. When the value is set, you fire off a method to validate the value before you set it. And that really will make your code much more neater and readable. There's a very good example. Not a perfect example because we're not really validating anything there, but let's get these out of memory. Next, garbage collection. You'll notice when you're working with TCP, they have a tendency of staying in memory and RAM longer than a lot of things. So it's good to set them to null when you're done with them. It's actually good to set a lot of things to null. When you're done with it, you're just telling garbage collection, yeah, I'm really finished with this. You don't have to wait any generations to get rid of it. Get rid of it now. Of course, the null does that. So. Alright, I'm jumping around here, I'm sorry. But I wanted to get the stubs for these other methods in place. Okay, what did I do wrong there? There you are. Tell you what, and let's also add in a catch, just a general catch-all to all of these to make sure we're catching everything. Okay, let's go fill in our listen. Tread pool again. Yes, include. So the major differences are in the actual message sending and receiving, and we'll have more to say then. You don't have get IP address yet. Okay, let's jump over to server and punch that in real fast. And now you're happy. You're happy, I'm happy. Okay. And that doesn't exist yet. Put that one in. Just go ahead and plop it down here. Stub it out. Okay, so this will be the first one that we're using the binary reader and memory stream in. So let's go ahead and get send message out of the way, because that one is a long one. Well, actually, send message is the first one we'll be using the binary streamer in. So let's go ahead and copy this try catch, plop it down in send message. So we are going to use a memory stream, which is just a stream in current memory. You can use it with compression, you can use it with binary reader and writer, just like a file stream or a network stream or anything else. Why are we using the binary reader and writer instead of the binary serializer? Well, if you go and read the information on the binary serializer, Microsoft does no longer recommend it because people have figured out ways to hack it. It basically takes your class and serializes it. And that means when you deserialize it and bring it back into memory, the constructor is fired. And a very intelligent, mischievous hacker could hack your code to run something when your class is deserialized. So if you're saving data for your game and suddenly it's running a method you didn't write, are running something in the constructor wherever they can get away with in the constructor, and bam. Or at least that's the way I heard it. Not saying that I've tried it or anything. Okay, so we've created a stream in our memory on our send message now. We've created a binary writer we're going to write to that stream. We've wrapped the writer around that stream. The first thing we are going to write is the number 0, the integer 0. Why? Because we have to have some method to tell, for this client to tell the server and the server to tell the client, I am now working on this area, this level. I call them levels. And for send a simple message, it's a 0. We then use the binary writer to write the message to the stream. We then go and get the stream, or we call the streams to array method to get a byte array back. Just like before when we were doing all that crazy stuff with the encoding and decoding. We then close both of these. You really should do a using, I just didn't. And we write that to our stream, which is going to our server. And of course we put the system message information in there. Very short one. This is very short. I think this is the shortest one we're going to do. Let's go look at the longer ones in the client wait for message. This is where we're going to use the binary reader, and it is going to work with a bunch of more stuff. So first off, and I'm going to explain something in here that I didn't explain before when we wrote it the first time. If you go back and test the first app that we wrote, it is not saying listening every time we send a message. And the reason is we are doing a while down here. You can do a do while also, but we're doing a while. And while we're doing this while, we are constantly reading if the data is available. Now, if we stop reading, we actually close our stream and we would have to reopen our stream again. And it really is annoying because every time you want to send information, you would have to reconnect and you would have to send all your user information again and get all the user information back. And there's nothing wrong with this method, other than I cannot spell. It has taken away my ability to spell with words and letters. Okay, so right now we are still doing the basic stream read. Actually, what I said just now applies less to the client, but it does apply to the client. It applies more to the server side that will actually kill the stream to the client. But if you go with Microsoft's straight example from the MSDN, you will close the stream when you finish reading. And that is the problem. Now, all we're worried about right now at this moment, we're going to add to this in the following videos. But all we're worried about right now is reading that initial message that you have connected, just like we did before. So, in the same way that we are writing the level here, the server is going to write a level, and we're reading it, and if it's 0, it's a message from the server and nothing else. So our string, br read string, our string message is equal to br read string, and our user messages is plus equal to, and yeah, formatter. Just go ahead and do a string format. Supposed to be faster than plus, but whatever. And then the last thing we're going to do after we're going to have 4 different versions, 4 different levels. And the last thing we'll do is BR close and MS close, because we're doing this while loop while the client is not equal to null. Alrighty. So the rest of the stuff we have to do in the we'll come back to the client after we do the initial server. Let's get over to the server. God bless. See you in the next video. Like and subscribe if you got something out of this. See you there.